work with the Canvas apps. That's a basic we discussed about it. And today we are going to discuss how we can work with the list and then how we can add a Power Up form into a SharePoint out-of-box forms. We'll see that. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm adding a new application here, add an app. So we have custom list, we have plenty of out-of-box list templates and a document library templates. Sorry, in the last session we discussed about a custom list. Today also we are going to discuss about a custom list. Now I'm trying to create a list name called market. Click create. Now it is created a market list here. When we open market list, we can able to see a one default column named as title, and if you want to add the columns you can able to add from here, or if you want to add the columns in a different place you can able to add from the list settings. To go to the list settings we have site action gear, and here we have a option named as list settings. When we hit this one it will redirect us to a different page, and this is a list settings page. You can able to see the name of the list here, and this is a settings page. In this settings page we have plenty of options, and first one is list information, and it shows us the name of the list, and it shows web address, it shows the description of the list, but we don't have any description. If you want to modify this list information we have option here, list name, description and navigation. When we hit this one it shows us the name of the list. If you want to change you can, and next one is description, and I'm giving a list of markets in the city. And then now we have the navigation option. You can able to see this market list will be available in the left navigation or quick navigation or career navigation. We will call in a different names here. So now in this left navigation we have a recent section. Under recent section we can able to see this market, but this is only for temporary. For example, if you create another 5 to 10 list, this will disappear from this recent because this is created recently, it's appearing under the recent. But if you create another 5 to 10 list and it disappears, but instead of that I want to keep this market list permanently here in the left navigation. You can click display this list on the quick launch. When you hit that, click OK or click save. It will be available here in the quick navigation, and if you create 10 or 20 list also it will not disappear because this is available in the quick launch or a quick navigation bar. Now that is about the list name, description. Just before we don't have any description, now we added this one just before it is appearing here. Now next option is versioning settings. This is most important in the list. For example, if you added a data inside the list and if you modify it next time and you want to keep the previous data also, you have to go with the versioning settings. For example, you created a list and you are adding the data. For example, somebody is modifying and you don't want to keep that changes, but you don't know who would modified it and what it modified. If you forgot the data which you added earlier and you cannot able to get that back. So to overcome that issue, Microsoft giving a very good option here, versioning settings. If you want to keep the previous data inside your list, and you can go with the versions. If you click require content approval for submitted items, this is a different concept. I'll explain in the upcoming sessions. The very next one is create a version each time you edit an item in this list, which means if you modify any of the item and you can keep the older data also inside the memory, and if you want to get that back you can easily get that back using versioning settings. Okay, so for that we have to select this yes, create a version each time you edit an item. If you keep yes, and it will keep the versions. Then keep the following number of versions. If you want to limit the versions, for example, I don't want to keep a more than 10 versions, so you can click 10 here. So which means it only keeps the last 10 versions. If you enter 100, it will only keep the last 100 versions. And this is about the drafts, and drafts is not available in the list. This drafts is available for the document library. We know that draft is when you are writing an email, it stores as in a draft. which means if you lost the power or if you lost the internet connectivity, still your draft will be available next time when you open, and then you can able to send, or you can close your email box and then after some time you can come back and you can go to drafts and you can send it out. This is about the drafts. Here in the SharePoint drafts, we can call it as a minor versions. These are the major versions. Major version stores in a number format like 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, but minor version stores in a format of 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. If after the second version it stores as a 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. If you publish as a major version, then it stores as a 3.0. Until that, it stores all the drafts as a minor versions. That is the slight difference between the major and the minor versions. And the minor versions only available to the document library, because document library contains the documents. If you are typing something on the document and it saves automatically, or if you save it, it stores as a minor version. If you publish it, it stores as a major version. Now this concept is not available here, and the draft security also not available here because list only keeps major version. It doesn't keep any minor versions. Remember that. When I click OK, then it starts versioning. Then when you add a data, it stores as a 1.0, and then when you modify it to, it stores as a 2.0. And if you want to get back your version, you can do that. So this we'll discuss a bit later. We have plenty of other options also. Before discussing these all options, first we'll add the data and we'll see how it works. First, I have the title of the market, and then I'm creating a column here. The column name as location. Now it would be choice, or you can give the single line of text also, it will work. But if you want to keep specific locations, then you can go with the choices. Now I'm entering the first market is Hyderabad, the second one is in Mumbai, and then New York. New York. Okay, I think, I don't know, this might have a space. And then London, Amsterdam, and we have Shanghai. Plenty of locations, right? We have plenty of markets. Okay, so here we have selected a choice column, and description is always optional. If you want to enter the description, you can. And here we have required that this column contains information. If you make yes, and you're making this column as a mandatory field. And here we have another option is enforce unique values. So which means, and if you enter a data something like Mumbai once and you cannot able to enter the same data again, you cannot able to enter the Mumbai on the same column information. So that's why enforce unique values. This is something like a primary key in the SQL, and that would not be duplicate again, which means if you are entering row number 1 as a primary key and you cannot able to enter a number 1 in another row. The same way here also we have a unique values, which means it only accepts once, and the very next time if you select this one, it passes an error message when you are adding the data. Here we have choice column, and choice column also contains three different options. The very first option here is drop down. The second option is radio button, and the third option is check boxes. We know that drop down we can able to select only one item, and the radio button also we can able to select a one item once. But coming to the check boxes, you can able to select a multiple items once. So which means if you have the same kind of market in different locations, you can go with the check boxes. But we are giving a different names for the different locations markets, so then you can go with this drop down option or radio button option. If you have more than 10 or 20 items, and it's better to go with the drop down only. You cannot able to go with the radio buttons. Radio buttons, if you have only 3 or 4 items, it's better to use the radio buttons, and user can able to see there and they can choose one option. Now here, allow fill-in choices. This is most important. Now we have the markets here in the Mumbai, New York, London, Amsterdam, and Shanghai. And I feel that I have a market which is not available in any of these cities. Maybe it is available in Sydney. Okay. Now the user wants to enter their own data instead of these choices, and they can go with the allow fill-in choices. So we can see another other box there. User can able to enter the data instead of these choices. That is about allow fill-in choices. The next option is default value. And if you want to keep a default value, when you try to add data, it shows on your form. Now this is views, about views. We'll discuss about views later. Add to default view. And if you add this to default view, this column is available in the views. So once you understand what is view, and you can able to understand how it works. Okay, we'll see this one later. Now we are not going to work with a column formatting. Change the display of this column by adding the JSON below. If you add some JSON code here, and it formats the column. So now this one also we'll discuss later, because we are not gonna discuss about the JSON now. So this is about the choice column, and most of the columns having these kind of options, but we'll see how it works. Now we added title, we added location. Now I'm going to add another column here named as address of the market, and it would be multi-line of text. Most of times address would be the multi-line of text, because we are gonna add house number, or maybe uh, location or a billing name, and then we have to add a location, and then we have to add a city, then district, then country, and then if you want to add a continent, whatever you want, you can add, or if you want to add a zip code or a pin code, you can able to add there. So description again optional, and this is you are going to make your column as a mandatory column, and how many lines for editing, and by default is 6 lines. You can increase or you can decrease. Now here we have a two options. One is plain text type, another one is enhanced rich text. Plain text only allows the text there, but enhanced rich text can able to allow you to enter the pictures, tables, hyperlinks, whatever you want, you can do that. So this is same as your word rich text format. You can enter your colors, whatever you want to do, you can do from enhanced rich text. But in the modern UI, it's better to select a plain text for address, because you are not going to give a different colors. Because if you use enhanced rich text, and it will pop up another window to show your rich editor. Next one is append changes to the existing text. If you have any existing text, then you can add using yes. So again, this is about a view, and this is about column formatting. We are not going to discuss about this one now, and this we'll discuss in the upcoming sessions. Click OK. Now we have 3 columns. Now I'm going to add another column. I'm going to add another column named as established date, and what I'm giving is estab date. Okay, and I'm selecting date. Now when it comes to the date format, now the options will change again. The description is again optional, and require that this column contains information. I'm not going to make this as a mandatory. If you want to make yes, yes, you can do. And now the date is not a unique, so you don't need to worry about this one. And date and time format, I just want to use only date, and I don't want to use the date and time. So date and time only useful when you are capturing the time. For example, if you are working with any of the ticketing systems, and then the date and time also must be important there, because it calculates the hours, it calculates the minutes for SLA. Here we are just taking the date. For example, if you are creating a column for date of birth, and you don't need to worry about a date and time. So here also established only date, and we are not going to capture the time. So that's why I'm selecting date only. If you want to capture the time, you can go with this. Now display format also, we have the standard date format you can utilize, or you can go with the friendly format. But I want to use the standard, you can go with this one. Now again, default value. We know that default value only displays when you give something. For example, if I take today's date, it it shows today's date. If I click none, it shows empty, and you can able to change. The last option is you want to put a some default date, something like January 2020, something 1st January 2020, 1st January 2021, whatever the date you want to keep, you can keep as a default date. Now if you are date having some calculation, for example, when you are adding something and you want to get 1 month before or 1 month back or 1 year back, some calculated date, and you can go with the calculated one. We have the calculated column also. We'll discuss about the calculated columns in the upcoming sessions. Now we'll skip here about the calculation, and default view also we'll discuss later, in column formatting also. Click OK. Okay, now our list contains title, location, address, and established date. And if you want to add more columns, you can able to add, but that's fine. We have different types of columns. So we'll keep one more name here for to utilize the personal group column. Okay, so now here what I'm going to give, I'm just going to give a CEO of that market, what we can say, CEO would be fine, R&D would be fine, something like this. Select personal group. Now this is a people picker column. It shows personal group, but we can call this as a people picker column. We have different columns also. In the personal group column, give me a minute. I'm sorry. So this is a people picker column. This also contains the description, and it also contains a request that this column contains information, which means we are making as a mandatory. And here enforce unique values. Now I'm selecting this one. We'll see how it works. We can test this one because one person cannot able to manage the multiple markets. So that's why I'm selecting this is enforce unique values. Allow multiple selections, which means if you want to select a multiple people as an MD, then you can click allow multiple selections. But I want to keep only one person. That's why I'm not selecting multiple selections. Allow selection of people only or people and groups. If you want to select a group of people, and also SharePoint contains a group contain multiple people but named within a single entity, which means, for example, if you give a team named as management team and it contains 10 to 15 people, example, and all the 10 to 15 people having a name as management team, so when you enter the management team, it also takes into the people picker column. So that's why we have the people and groups option. And selection of people only, I want to select only people. And here we have the choose from. If you want to choose from all your Active Directory users or your authentication provider users, you can choose this one. Or if you want to select only from a specific group, I told you right about the management group. If you want to pick the people from only from the management group, you can select this SharePoint group, and it only allow user to enter the people from the Rishan solution members or Rishan solutions owner, something like that. So now I don't want to do that. I just want to pick from all the users. And this is important. So here in the field, when you select a person in the field, how it shows in the column. See, name with the presence, and we have account name, work email, other email, user expiration, something. These are all properties from the user profiles. But most of the cases will select this one. It shows the person name and the presence of the person. We'll see when we add and it shows the presence, which means he is busy, he's away, he's not available, or he's presenting something. All the statuses from our communicator. The communicator here is the Teams. For SharePoint, it takes from the Teams or Skype for Business. Earlier it is from Skype for Business. Now it is from the Teams. Again, we know this too, so I'm not going to explain. Click OK. So this column must be indexed to enforce the unique values. Do you want to index this column? Yes, because this contains a unique value, so we are going to index this one. When I select OK, then it creates the column. When I come back to my market list, I can able to see all this in my view. This is called view. You can able to see all items.aspx is a view. Now we don't have any data. Now we are going to add the data into this list. For that, now here we have an option named as new. You can able to see this when you hit this one. It, it pops up a window here to add the data. And here we have a save option. If you want to cancel, you can. If you want to copy the link, you can. Or if you want to edit this one, you can. We have two options here, edit column and customize with Power Apps. We'll discuss this one a bit later. I will add the data. Okay, I'm trying to enter the market name as a BSc. and this is a Bombay Stock Exchange we have in the Mumbai. Okay, and then address is, I don't know address, but I'll enter Mumbai, and this is in India. Okay, done. And I don't know the exact established date. We'll keep some date here. Okay, so give me a minute, it's not responding properly. Okay, we'll select July 1st, 2020. Now here, so I'm trying to enter people names here. When I enter and it picks from our AD, it is from the Azure AD or Office 365 users. We can able to see the users here. When I select this one and then it shows up. This is the attachment column and it's not mandatory. It's by default it comes here. If you want to utilize you can, or if you don't want this in the form, we'll remove that one in the modifications, like when you modify this, and we'll see that. When I click save, now it is adding the data here. And just before we discussed about the versions, we'll discuss about that. So for that, and before going to edit this, I'm not going to add any comments here. And when I click this, I can able to see a version history. When I hit this one, it shows version history here. Now it's stored with a 1.0, and all the information, title, location, and address, established date, and MD, and who modified it. It's modified by Rishan Solutions. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to edit this data, and I'm changing this Mumbai, Maharashtra, and then I'm adding India, then try to save this one. Now when I go back to the version history, when I click, I will have two versions. One is 1.0, the second one is 2.0. And in the 2.0, we modified only Mumbai, MH, India. And for example, there is a huge data and I can able to understand who modified it. See, it's modified by Rishan Solution, what they modified. But I don't want to manually come back to the previous version. I want to do some automation here. So for that, we have a restore option. When I hit restore, I'm sorry, I want to restore the previous version 1.0. When I hit restore and then click OK, and it stores within a 3.0, and it also shows that address Mumbai, India. When I close this one, when I refresh this page, I can able to see address would be Mumbai, India only instead of Mumbai, Maharashtra, India. Now you can able to see this way versioning will work. So if you have 50 columns, 60 columns, 70 columns, and then people modifies the data, but I don't want to keep the previous versions, or maybe I don't want to keep the edits which were done by somebody, and I want to come back to my version. I can able to do that from version history. Click this one, go back to version history. You can able to see everything, and which version you want, you can click and you can restore. But the Microsoft give me an option here in the current version. When I click this one, I can able to see restore option, but this will not help because you are going to restore the same version on the same version. It doesn't help. But Microsoft given a version. If you want to see this one, you can able to click view and you can able to see the data here. And we have two different options here. The first thing is, so when I go to the previous versions, I can able to restore and I can able to delete. But current version, you cannot able to delete and you cannot able to restore. But we have the restore option, it will not work. But you cannot able to delete the current version. But you can able to delete the previous versions also. The option is available in the version history. That is about that. Now when I try to add the data, I can able to see this form, and when I try to edit the existing data or view the existing data, and I can able to see this view, but I don't like it. I want to design this one. This is very plain new display form, and when I go to the new also, this is very plain and new form. For example, if I copy this and then copy and go to the new tab, open this one. See, this is a new form.aspx. And when you try to edit this one, it shows edit form.aspx. I'm canceling this, no worries. Close this one and try to edit. Now if you copy this one and then copy, go back here and try to open this, and it is display form. Okay, and if you edit this one, and this is edit form.aspx. So we have total 3 different forms, and if you want to modify these 3 different forms, and we have an option to modify this form here. So here we have an option named as Power Apps. When I click, we have create an app, we have see all apps, we have customize forms. Now when I hit this customize forms, now it's trying to open the Power Apps Studio. This one we discussed in the last session, how we can open the Power Apps Studio directly. We are working with this account and then sign in. It's showing that password wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not the account we are using. Yes, I selected this. Next and sign in. So multiple accounts were there in the page, so that's why it's showing that all the options there. Okay, now it's loading. It takes a while and it opens Power Apps Studio. Okay, skip this one. And these are the fields. We'll discuss about that. Okay, in the last session, what we did is we created a Canvas app. In the Canvas app, we created a connection and then we added a form. But here in the SharePoint, when we click on customize form, it automatically takes the connection of SharePoint. See, SharePoint integration is already available and it is already added a form here. And also we have SharePoint form 1 here, and this form contains a title, this form contains a location, it contains address, it contains established date, it contains the MD. And if I want to add something in the top, okay, because it's not contain a tablet view, it contains mobile view here. So here also we can able to add our labels. I'm trying to add a label in the top. Okay, I'll keep this label here, and then instead of using your mouse, you can use the size also here. Somewhere you can see line height, something size 444 width and 42 height. And if you want to increase this height, yes, you can able to increase to 46, and you can able to see the change. And the font also here, and here the text, I'm changing this text to market location, changing to market location. And then I want to make this as a bigger one instead of that lowercase, and font would be something 15. I don't like that, and I want to make as a bold, and I want to keep that in the center alignment. I can do that. And also I just want to change the background color. I can, I'm sorry. Okay, looks good. Or if you don't like it, you can able to change that color, whatever the color you likes, and you can keep. And also the font size, I don't like that much small, and I want to make little bigger. Okay, that looks good. And then in the form there is attachment. I don't like this attachment data card. I can remove using delete button. Now I have all the data cards here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 data cards here, and then I have title and I have BSc, location, Mumbai, address, and establish a date and MD. And still I want to add one more button here in the bottom. I'll have the button here, and then you can keep this button here, and I want to add one more button, and I want to keep this button here. Okay, so In the first button, I want to use save. Now it would be safe, and then if you want to change the background color of this button, you can able to change. No, like this. Get, and I want to change this to button to cancel, and change this color as well. Okay, now make this as, instead of semi bold, you can make this somehow bold, and then this one also make bold. Just move this to the top, so not position is 41 in the Y, change it to 46, because if you use your mouse and you cannot able to find it out where it is going and at exactly which position it is going, and you can change that from here. It's in the 46 position. Now it is little better compared with the existing one. And if you want to add the functionality for this save button, and we already discussed in the last session, you can use submit form, and then use, what is this? This is a form, what it is, SharePoint form 1. So SharePoint form 1, then close it. And we have the cancel, and the cancel, if you want to reset the form, you can use reset form. It will reset the form, and then close it. We are not writing a big functions here, very small functions that was written, and we have title, location, and address, and establish a date and MD. And if you want to change this design also, you can able to do that. And if you want to maintain the 2 columns, 3 columns, you can do that. But currently I'm not going to change the columns. Single column would be fine, it shows better. And then here we have the preview option. You can able to see your form looks like this: market, location, title, location, address, establish a date, and MD. You can able to see the star marks here in the left side. If your column is mandatory, it shows this. If you don't like this one, for example, if you want to change the star mark, for example, for title, this is a title data card. We'll see there is a star visible option is available, and it is showing that color. We'll see is there any color utilizes. For example, I want to make is a red color, because most of the cases, if it is a star mark, people will use a red color. If you want to use like that, you can use that. And for location, it's not mandatory. For I'm sorry, location, it's mandatory. I'm sorry. You can see the star visible, and then you can come back and you can change the font color to red, and that goes as a red. For establish a date also, I'm trying to change it to red color. Change it to red color. Now we are done. We can able to see something here, and some okay, this is about that outer box. We are not written that function, and you can able to see the star marks here. And now click OK. And so how it goes to the SharePoint first, that we'll discuss. First, we have the save option here. When you come from the file, and when you hit, and we have the save option, click save. Okay, now here we have another option named as publish to SharePoint. It's showing which SharePoint list it is going to publish. We can able to see the URL of the site and the list slash market slash all items. This is a view, no worries. View doesn't impact on your form. And then it's saved at 9:42, and all changes are saved. And then our changes is going to publish into a list. Before publishing, we know that when you go to the market list, when you try to add a data, and it shows up the out of box new form, and when you edit something, it shows up out of box edit form here. But the magic will happen only once you publish this into your SharePoint list. Click publish to SharePoint and use publish to SharePoint option. It takes a while to publish to your SharePoint environment, but it definitely publish, and it shows the magic here in the list. And I'm refreshing it. If it is not showing the magic, we'll see why it is not showing. See, Now still we can able to see this new item in the older view, and we'll refresh. Maybe it takes time. Now the magic is started working on your SharePoint list. The Power App is loading on your. Yes, it's loaded. It's better than the existing farm, right? Existing farm having a bigger one and it's not looking nice. And we don't have the header banner. We don't have the buttons like this. But still, we have a buttons here, save, cancel, and copy link. For example, if I copy this link and then when I come back to here in the new tab, we can able to see what is happening here. See, now still we have new form.aspx, but it's looking in the newer design. Okay, if you want to add the data from here, you can able, but what I'll do is I'll add the data from here itself. Now the title. The title is, I don't know, it is NASDAQ, I think, New York Stock Exchange. And address is New York and then USA, and then establish a date, it's showing 2001. But here we have a different kinds of calendar is available. Earlier calendar is different, now this calendar is different. I can able to see the months here, and if I want to change the years, I can able to change the years from here. And maybe it is in January 13th, 14th, something. Click OK. Now the MD is, now last time we entered Anil, and then I'm trying to enter the same person name here. When I click save, and what is happening, it should have to pass the error. So skip to main content, it's showing something, but I don't think so it is added because this is an error. But error is not showing properly. We'll change this a bit to again Rishan solutions, and then try to save it. Now it is saved, but we are not handling the errors on the farm, so that's why it's not showing, but it's not adding the data. And if you have this one, if you try to edit, it also shows the same kind of page here in the edit form. And then this is edit form. And also, for example, if I try to add a new item, for example, if I added something here, data, I'm sorry. Well, see, the farm is not responding. We'll try to add the data once again. Okay, now the farm is loading. Okay, now here I'm adding some data, ABC market, and then find some location. Okay, and then okay, address is China, and you can enter the establish a date, something. If you don't like to add this data, this cancel is working or not, will test. If I click cancel, it is going back to the previous resetting form. It is going to the previous form which we selected, but it should not like this. It should have to clear the data. We'll see why it is not clearing the complete form. So this is about the cancel one, but it's showing the previous data. I'll close this one once again, click new. We'll see if I click cancel. Okay, it is coming back to the previous data, and then we'll see this one how we can resolve. I think it is going back to the edit form. Instead of going back to this, we can change it to new form. That will, for example, your form is not working properly, and if you want to modify, you can directly go back to the uh, browser where you opened this one, and you can republish again. But maybe after some time you felt that okay, this is not working properly, I want to modify the form. Still you have an option to customize your form again from here itself. Use this drop down and then click customize form. It's loading, it take a while to load that. Okay, it's taking time. We'll wait for another while. Meanwhile, we'll open this list in another tab. Sometimes this power apps takes too much time, so we'll try to open once again. If it is not properly connecting to your environment, take a while and then close it and then try to open once again. Now it's much faster than the last time. Okay, I'm skipping this one, and this cancel is not working properly. Just select this one and it's not resetting the form, and we'll try to see is another formula will work. I'll try to make this as a new form, that is SharePoint form 1. Okay, that's it, and then try to publish it. Save once again and publish it. So I'm just making the existing form as a new form and see how it works. We have different formulas. Okay, now when I click this edit the existing form, and it loads the data, and then when I hit cancel, now everything is done, and yeah, it makes as a new form and everything is cleared. And when I try to enter the data, if I hit cancel, and still on the new form itself. But when you are editing or when you are displaying any of this one, when I hit this cancel, it makes as a new form to add the data. Okay, this is about this, and we have other options also in this, how you can work with these columns, existing columns. For example, if you want to shift these columns from one place to another place, how you can shift. So for that, I want to change this location to the first place. I can simply drag and drop into second location to first location. It changes. And you come back, and when you see this in the runtime, you can see location, then title, address, establish date, and empty. So this way, if you want to keep the different order, or if you want to rearrange arrange these columns, you can able to do using drag and drop option. When you select this form, you can select this edit, and it shows all the fields. And if you want to move one place to another place, you can drop into that place. It changes in the form as well. Okay, we have plenty of options in the Power Apps. We'll discuss in the upcoming sessions. That's it for today.